All right, no music today because I want to talk about a trade I took. Let's see, today is Monday, so this is to watch this video for Tuesday, February 6th. I don't usually trade these XIV velocity shares, the inverse VIX, all that stuff. I don't really understand it, but when you're talking about 2 or 3 days down into the 200-day on this kind of volume, I bought 1,000 shares at the close, and I guarantee this is going to open higher tomorrow. It's an advanced trade, and I wouldn't recommend this for a newer trader, but I think this is going to pay me pretty darn well. Yeah, I'm just kidding. This is the daily, this is the after hours chart, 60 minutes. Look at this thing. It's down at 2140, closed at 99. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in after hours. These instruments, man, I don't know if somebody there's some sort of after hours margin call, or a buddy of mine at Day Trader Wayne's talking about how they're flawed instruments anyway. I didn't know people took these and held them overnight. But the reason I point this out is because I don't know what to expect tomorrow. All right. The Dow was down like 1,100 something points today. So let me get off this. But yeah, SVXY is another one. Closed at 71.82. As I'm talking, it's trading at $17.94. So just insane. So with these things, I don't know if there's going to be margin calls at the open, if there's people that have these things overnight in their, for investments. I honestly don't know, who would be in something like this or whatever, but you'd have to expect at the open, there's going to be some chaos, which I would think would affect the overall market. So this is one of those things that's unprecedented for me. I've been trading for well over a decade, and I've never seen anything. I've traded through all the chaos in 2008, 2009, and did just fine. But I still feel like I've never seen anything like this. Maybe because it's been so long since there's been any weakness. But whatever's going on in after hours with these things, I believe is going to affect the overall market. And for that reason, I've only got a few stocks on watch, and they're all going to be potential bounces. But again, I'm a little nervous what's going to happen to the market tomorrow. And the beauty of being a day trader is we can just sit in cash and listen until we have an A+ setup. Sliding my equity curve over. I took a few trades today, closing out again highs for the year. And again, I don't short, so I'm proud of my patience and waiting for the proper entries. It's everything we teach in our course, and I think that's the thing I'm best at, is not trading until I have an A+ setup. So we can teach you how to do that. The description to our course is recorded now in the books and available for purchase. Look in the description below. Also, there's description there's a link to that, but there's also a link to chat room specials, and there's a link to a lot of free content. Our free webinars. There's a link in the description below to those too, and there's some good free content. So check out our free webinars, even if you don't care about what we do in our chat room, what we teach in our course. I think you'll enjoy the free stuff. A lot of free content. Okay, so with all that said, the stocks let me show you the SPY real quick. That is, remember yesterday I said that's an ugly candle, right? You hadn't even really closed since probably August, hadn't really closed below the 20-day. And then you can see what happened. It just went almost parabolic to the upside. Then I thought, oh, that's an ugly day, looking for a bounce, and I never would have expected a day like that. So, if nothing else, I like to think I kept members in our chat room safe today, because I didn't had a couple calls early that paid, and then, got back to break-even stops, and then this happened. Had a couple things. I actually did call IWM. I'm going to give you a little trading tip here. When the overall market is getting ugly, SPY and IWM are actually good reversal trades. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So the SPY, IWM SPY, they pretty much trade the same. So IWM was starting to really get that downside shape, and then look at that. These are 5-minute candles. So this is a little trick that I use. All right, so all of a sudden, look at all these 5-minute candles, and notice how this one is way wider in range than the ones preceding it. When I see that and everything is selling, if I want to look for a reversal snapback bounce, when I get this long 5-minute candle, it's way longer than these. I want to kind of like an X-ray technique. I want to look inside of this long 5-minute candle, so I go down to ones. And I mentioned on the mic, no, I typed in the room, IWM worth a shot on ones or twos. So if you look at it, here's the 1 minute. There's that 5-minute candle broken down into ones. Look at this nice narrow candle. 140, narrow is a relative term, but actually this was pretty narrow. 148.56 was the high. 148.31 was the low. So you're talking about less than 30 cents risk. And the idea is the first break of a previous one's high. So 148.57. And the worst case stop, 148.30. So 27 cents risk. And I don't know, look at that. These are 1 minute candles. So if you got long, anyone in the chat that took my idea at 148.57, it ended up going up nicely, you know, up a couple bucks in a few minutes. Having said that, I'd already had some nice trades, and I was watching this, and I thought to myself, this is an opportunity. These don't come along very often. Whenever you get this kind of downside shape, I thought this is an opportunity, but I was nicely green on the day, and I did not take the trade. And then it ended up closing. I told everybody when it did this that I would be shocked if we took out the lows again for the day, and I'll be damned they did. SPY, same thing. Same thing. Downside shape. Look at the length of that candle compared to these. Look what happens when you switch to ones. Look how clean this one was. Same thing. Great trade. Long, stop. And I have found when the overall market is selling, SPY and IWM are pretty good snapback reversal traders. So something to think about going forward. All right. Enough of that babbling. Let's go into AAPL. I know how to type Apple. Here's the daily chart. When the market is weak and everything's selling, Apple is one of my favorites to go to. And Apple closed below the 200-day for the first time. Let me scoot that out. First time in a long time, as you can tell. It actually had a nice relationship with the 200-day back here and back here. But the overall market's bringing everything down. I don't have a spot that I love this, but it's down big for the last couple days. And when you get a market bounce, you're probably going to get a nice Apple bounce. So that's one that I like to go to when things are ugly. Tractor Supply, had it on Bounce Watch yesterday, so I'm going to have it on Bounce Watch again today. No trades in it yet. I don't really have any area on the chart that I'm in love with either. But what I did was just populate my list for tomorrow with a few bounce plays. ExxonMobil, you know, nasty down day, then another nasty down day today. I would love to see this come down to the 76 area. If it does that tomorrow, if everything's selling off, I'm going to probably get a nice trade in that one. So that's kind of an area I'm thinking of on XOM. CarMax, KMX, 4 days down in a row. I like this if it can get below 64. You had a nice reversal back there and back here too. It's gotten there in a hurry. So looking for a 64 flush and a possible reversal. Remember, I'm a day trader. I am in cash every night, and right now it's a really good feeling, right? And then I try to find ways to make money the very next trading day. And that's why my equity curve is like it is. Because I don't ever get hit on overnight bad news or anything. Qualcomm, QCOM, supposed to have a buyout offer on the table for like 82 or something. Don't quote me on that, but you know, I don't know if the offer was pulled, but I think Qualcomm is absolutely worth watching for a bounce. That's a nasty candle today. That's QCOM. A couple more. LM, what is this? 6, 7, 8 days down in a row to the finally getting to the 200-day. Good bounce play candle. And then PZZA, which I think that's Papa John's, I think. Pretty beaten up for the last few days, down in some pretty nice support. Look at when this thing gets under 56. Bounce here, here, and here. So it's gotten there in a hurry. I would love to see a flush below 56. And who wouldn't feel a little safer buying pizza versus SVXY or something like that, right? So, all right, I'm going to leave it at that. We'll find plenty to trade tomorrow, I'm sure. But I'm just going to tell you, exercise caution. We're in territory because of those whatever, those short VIX instrument things, whatever you want to call them. Unprecedented territory. I've never seen anything like this, so not going to be diving into anything in the opening few minutes tomorrow, I promise you. All right, I'm going to let things set up. All right, I'm done babbling. Have a good night. See everybody tomorrow.